After his December hiatus, Roman Reigns doesn't just come back, he reclaims the throne with a presence so commanding that the entire arena feels the ground shift beneath their feet the moment his music hits. The moment he steps through the curtain, the air changes. It's no longer about a return, it's about a coronation that never truly ended. Every rival who dared to speak his name in his absence suddenly remembers why they whispered it instead of shouting it loud. Cody Rhodes, the self-proclaimed American nightmare, spent weeks building his story on the idea that the tribal chief was gone for good. Now he stands frozen, realizing the nightmare was only on pause. The head of the table never left. He simply allowed the world to breathe without him long enough to appreciate what it feels like when he takes that breath away again. His eyes carry the weight of a man who spent a month reminding himself that mercy is a choice, not a requirement. Paul Heyman doesn't need to speak. The smirk says everything. I told you he'd come back worse. The bloodline stands taller now, because they know the consequences of failure just got infinitely more real. Solo Sikoa watches from the sidelines, understanding for the first time that being, acting, tribal chief was never more than a temporary loan. Every championship belt in the company suddenly feels lighter on the waist of its holder, as if they know who it truly belongs to. The fans who booed him loudest now cheer with a fear-tinged respect. They hated him because they needed him, and absence made the truth undeniable. He doesn't rush to the ring. Why would he? The ring comes to him. Each step down the ramp is a reminder that time bends to his will, not the other way around. When he raises one finger to the sky, the entire WWE universe remembers who acknowledged him first: destiny itself. Seth Rollins laughs on commentary, but it's the laugh of a man who knows the visionary just became a footnote again. Drew McIntyre sharpens his sword in the back, realizing claymores don't cut through empires. Gunther stands stoic, but even the ring general knows some battles aren't won with chops and powerbombs. The women's division breathes a sigh of relief, because at least they're not in his crosshairs. Yet, LA Knight spends the night practicing new catchphrases, knowing none of them will matter when, meets, acknowledge me. Jey Uso watches from home, torn between pride and the sinking feeling that main event Jey just became Yeet again. Jimmy Uso stands at ringside, smiling through the fear, because superkicking your brother only works when he lets you. Sami Zayn somewhere in Canada suddenly feels the honorary US title burn a hole in his chest. Kevin Owens punches a wall, because he knows the fight just became prizefighter versus final boss, and the final boss always wins. The Rock watches from his mansion, sipping something expensive, knowing even the Great One steps aside when family business calls. Triple H sits in Gorilla, smiling the smile of a man whose greatest creation just reminded everyone why he built this empire around him. Vince McMahon, wherever he is, nods once. Ruthless aggression indeed. The stock price ticks up before he even speaks, because investors know ratings follow the tribal chief like the tide follows the moon. Merchandise sales spike in real time. Black, acknowledge me, shirts sell out in minutes. Children in the crowd hold signs that say, my tribal chief greater than your hero. Old men who watched Bruno Sammartino mutter that they've never seen anything like this. Wrestlers in the locker room lower their eyes when he walks past. Not out of respect, out of survival, he climbs the turnbuckle slowly, surveying his kingdom the way a lion surveys the savannah after a nap. The microphone feels heavier in his hand now, because every word he speaks becomes gospel. When he finally says, I'm not back, I'm better, the building shakes not from cheers but from the collective realization that he means it. Cody Rhodes stands on the stage, title gleaming under the lights, looking suddenly very small. The American nightmare spent a month dreaming of a world without Roman Reigns. Now he wakes up screaming. Because the story never ended. It just waited. The tribal chief doesn't return. He reminds. And the entire WWE universe, from the front row to the cheap seats, from Stamford to Saudi Arabia, acknowledges one simple truth. The island of relevancy has only one ruler. And he just came home hungrier than ever.